excited to have everybody here. I'm Will, Senior Director of Marketing for Nutshell, and I'm going to be co-hosting today with Andy, our co-founder and CEO. We have an action-packed and very exciting webinar to go over our AI chatbot today. So without further ado, we're going to jump right into it. And of course, today we are going to talk about how you can level up your sales, support, and revenue metrics with our new AI chatbot. Just going into the details, again, you should get this recording. As long as you signed up for this, you don't have to watch the whole thing. We do hope you stay along. There's a lot to learn in here and a lot of action to take away from this webinar. But if you don't get the recording, if it's not there, in a day or two, you will see this on our website. Just go to our main nav menu under resources. You'll find webinars and guided tours, and there will be the YouTube link there that you can watch the recording of this, as well as download this PDF that we're going through here today. It'll also be on our Nutshell YouTube channel. So what exactly are we going to cover today? One, why did we build Nutshell Chat in the first place? What is Nutshell Chat? How we're going to set it up? What it looks like to your users on your website? How to give it more a deeper customization and configuration? How to measure its effectiveness on your website? How much it costs? And what's coming down the roadmap for Nutshell Chat? So again, we got a lot to cover, so I'm going to pass it right on to Andy, who has a lot to tell you about our Nutshell AI chatbot.
Awesome. Yeah, thanks, Will. And we're really excited about this one. Not only is this, we're pleased to show what we've built here, but this has just been a fun project to build. The entire team had a blast putting this together. This is really kind of the culmination of a whole bunch of pieces of Nutshell kind of pulling together over time. Nutshell started as just a simple sales CRM, really helping companies organize their business, sell smarter. But, what CRM started as were simply databases, right? It was your job to fill them with leads. It was your job to put the information into CRM. And really what we're excited about the trajectory that we're on and what we've built is that it's not simply a database anymore. Nutshell is a tool that actively helps you to move a lead along from sort of first contact to sale. But even more than that, actually helps you to generate additional leads from a whole bunch of different places. So we launched Nutshell Forms 2 years ago as sort of a starting point to help you collect leads on your website. And the why behind Nutshell Chat is really just the next generation of a Nutshell form. We see a chatbot as the best way to convert the visitors that are already on your site into leads. Does a better job than existing contact forms. And we've seen that even for ourselves. If you look at nutshell.com and take a look at our own marketing efforts that Will leads up here, you'll see that while we have a contact form and we hear from a lot of new prospects that way, the chatbot itself helps customers and helps prospects get some early questions answered and gets a conversation handed off to the sales team much faster, much more effectively. So you generate leads better than you would with a contact form. And then finally, this has also been part of the journey that Nutshell has been on. When we first launched, our customers pulled together a lot of different sort of point solutions and connected them to Nutshell. Maybe you used MailChimp for email marketing. Maybe you used Calendly for your meeting scheduling. Maybe you used Podium for sort of a chat experience. And of course, other tools out there like Drift and Intercom. But what we found and heard from our customers is they're looking for something under one roof where you don't have to do all of the duct tape and chewing gum of connecting different products together and making them work. You want the lead flow of someone talking to your chatbot to showing up in your CRM and drip sequences beginning and everything else, the handoff to your sales process, to be as seamless as possible. So that's why we built this into Nutshell, and it's what we're going to be showing off today. All right, so what is Nutshell Chat? We kind of wanted to start and just sort of orient around this. I think everyone here has had an online chat experience. Maybe it's not the greatest one where you're chatting with your, cable modem, your cable company and figuring out your, what tier you're on and that sort of thing. But our goal is to take that chat experience and make it so that the chat bot could actually answer questions for you. Answer questions about what kind of products and services your business sells. It's staffed there on your website 24/7, answering questions that your visitors have about your company. And it's trained with a click on the content that you already have on your website. So, for a bot to be effective, it needs to know about your company. And the best way to do that is to take the material that you already have on your website and use it to train the chatbot here. And as I already mentioned, a key part of that then is The result of the chatbot is, not necessarily only answering questions of your visitors. Well, that's one objective. We see the real objective of chat here is generating leads for your sales team. So someone comes to your website, they're asking questions. That likely means they've got a need for what your company has to sell, and that's how Nutshell Chat is oriented here. But I think the best way to sort of show off what Nutshell is to do a live demo here. And so we're going to walk you through how this process works. And I'm going to make sure I hit the right share buttons here and get the right screen. And we're going to show you just how easy this is to train Nutshell and get started today. So I'm going to pull open my screen here. If you are a Nutshell customer today and you go to the engagement tab and you click chat, you will be presented with this screen here. And the way that this works is you are telling Nutshell your company's URL, and what's going to happen is it's going to crawl your site, learn about your content, learn about what it is that you sell, your contact information to train the bot and give you a preview of how it works. So for the sake of this demo, I'm a part of a little local flying club here. They fly some little Cessna airplanes and kind of a good little test case for us here. So I put in our website here. By the way, I'm working here in a brand new account. There's no smoke and mirrors here. So we're seeing this all live and at actual speed and how the experience would look like if you were doing this yourself. So what I'm presented with and what has happened here is Nutshell has crawled the website. It's learned about all the different pages on the site. It's interpreted it. It's used it to train a chatbot. And it's now previewing how that chatbot might look on our webpage. So this is this local flying club here in Ann Arbor, Michigan. They do flight training and aircraft rental. And one of the things that they try to do on their site is to collect prospects who might be interested in flight training. So we're going to see how well this chatbot does in answering common questions. So usually the first thing people ask is, how long does it take to learn to fly? And as I said, the only training we've done here has been putting in the URL behind the site. And the Nutshell chatbot has answered here. And it says, okay, time to take to learn to fly varies depending on your goals and schedule. Typically, it takes about 3 to 6 months, and it includes a link to, for some more information on flight training. So you can see without any additional work, we took the information on the site and used it to train the chatbot here. The final step in actually putting this on the website, because we're just kind of looking at a little bit of a preview here, I can continue through this process. Nutshell is going to give me a little snippet of JavaScript that I can use to put onto our website. Our team is happy to help with this snippet deployment. If you're using something like WordPress, you can use Nutshell's WordPress plugin to do all the heavy lifting here for you. And we have instructions on Squarespace and other tools on how to get this snippet onto your website to deploy the chatbot. But once I copy this and add it to my website, that's all I need to do to get started. And we're going to shift gears here a little bit and talk about, okay, what does this actually look like from the perspective of a visitor to your website? How does this chatbot work and turn visitors into leads here? So I'm going to stop sharing a second, let Will chat while I switch tabs here. How was that demo, Will? I can't hear you, Will. I think it's you and it's not me. Okay, I was afraid it was my AirPods.
Oh, it is me. Don't worry, you just missed a really bad pun.
Okay, you can try it again.
Well, I said it was a good demo and a good pilot program of the AI chatbot.
Excellent.
And then also just want to answer Pam here. I'll answer in the chat as well. But yes, this webinar is being recorded and will be sent to your inbox afterwards, Pam.
Okay, so I'm going to take a screen back here and we're going to shift gears now. I've actually put the chat snippet on our website here, and we're going to showcase a few more things about how the Nutshell chatbot works from the perspective of your visitors. So again, remember I trained it based on the content here. And we talked earlier about goals behind chatbot. And we really think that the best tool for this is to answer some basic questions, but then to turn visitors into leads. And the way we do that is through a couple of different tools that are already built into Nutshell. And the first of those is Scheduler. So if you're a Nutshell customer today and you haven't tried it out yet, Scheduler is our tool where you can create and accept bookings online. You can send a link to your calendar. People can book time with you. And we've built that scheduler tightly into the Nutshell chat widget here. So I'm going to be another visitor here. I'm going to sort of show the full experience of a conversation here. So I already tried this before, but let's ask this time, how much does it cost to learn to fly? All right, and the first thing Nutshell is going to do here once it's in the wild is before it answers my question, it's going to provide what we call our intake process. So it's going to ask my name, and it's going to ask my email address. And now what we've done here is we've collected this information from the visitor, and this can be used for follow-up from your team before, after the chatbot is over, to make sure that you're actually following up on all these prospects here. So you can see Flybot has responded here with the costs for learning to fly. Tells me a little bit more about how it depends on other factors. Let's say I want to go on to the next step. We'll even ask, what is the next step here? Where do I begin? And Chatbot, again, trained on the site of the content on the site here. We're going to see what it has to say. First step is to schedule an introductory flight lesson with us. And to get some experience flying firsthand, I can schedule an introductory flight, fill out a form. I'm going to say I want to schedule a flight. And what Nutshell is going to do here is recognize that I'm sort of expressing an interest in that kind of booking intent. And so it's presented me with an option here to book a meeting. And using the existing scheduler that I've already set up in Nutshell, I'm presented with some information. It's going to be a 30-minute session. I can now see the availability of the folks who would be doing those flights. I'm going to say we're going to book this for the 29th at 10 a.m. Provide my information here. And with this, the chatbot has collected my information. It's answered some of my questions, now turned my visit into a lead and turned it into a booking, which is synced to the calendar here. And I might also say, I also want to join the mailing list. Let's see what the chatbot has to say about that. All right, it's saying I can join the mailing list by filling out a form. I'll do that here. So I've got this form in front of me. I'll put in my name and email address. And what I've done here is filled out a Nutshell form that was fully connected to the chat experience. And I'm now sort of connected to the club. I should be hearing from a member there. So that's kind of a little bit of a glimpse into how the visitor experience works of Chatbot here. You can see, like most of these kinds of tools, sits at the bottom of the page as a little friendly icon. We'll show a little bit more about how you can configure that. But just to kind of show this is the exact experience that you can expect if you put chat on your website. I didn't put it together for the sake of the demo here, but this also works great if you have visitors to your website who are on iPhones or Androids. That same chat experience works really nice for mobile visitors as well. All right, I'm gonna hand it back to you, Will, while I shift gears for a little bit more on the how to build a chatbot.
So just to point out again, it's truly a very quick setup. Obviously, Andy, you're an expert at all things Nutshell, and you're a little bit more ahead of the curve when it comes to our audience here as far as like being able to use this tool exactly. But you can get this tool set up in just 5 minutes. And as Andy was kind of going through there, Andy, did you try to take over slides here?
Yep.
Okay, back over. Andy kind of went through the whole entire process and showed us how the chat can respond on its own here. So Andy, go ahead and take back the screens and show us a little bit more about Nutshell Chat.
Yeah, so what we're going to do next, we saw sort of that 3-step getting started process where it walked through my site, gave me a little preview. Then we just talked about the visitor experience. How does this look for the visitors on my site? How do I turn them into bookings? How do I turn them into form submissions? How do I turn them into leads? Let's show a little bit more about the customization that you have behind the scenes. In fact, I see a question from Elena there that we've got a good answer for. Out of the box, we do our best to pick the right pages on your website to learn from. We do our best to coach the bot to answer questions in a way that we think are going to generate leads for your team. But we want to keep you in the driver's seat. We're going to show you how you can customize the chatbot for your own here. So going back here to one more screen inside of the Nutshell chatbot setup here. And first we have a little walkthrough on how this all works. I'm going to walk past this and show you for ourselves here. So we're inside of Nutshell. If you look over here in the sidebar, we're in the engagement tab under chat setup. Very first control that you've got is the appearance of how the chat widget looks on your website. So of course, you can see the collapsed version, what someone sees when they first land on your page. You can include a nudge to your visitors to sort of try and grab attention to the chatbot as a tool that they might want to interact with. And you can customize the look and feel and the widgets and all of the kind of lingo that your visitors are going to see when they first engage with it. But let's talk a little bit more about knowledge and what goes into the training of the bot here. So when I typed in our website, what Nutshell did behind the scenes was it went to our homepage, but also crawled additional web pages. So I can actually see all of the knowledge that the chatbot learned from our site. And actually point your attention to the bottom left here. What you'll see is that we've pulled together 17,000 words of content to train the chatbot. And our kind of general guidance is, so maybe around 5 or 10,000 words is a good starting point to learn enough about your business, what you have to sell, how you go about selling it, how prospects should contact you. So we give you kind of a green bar here saying, you've got good information, you've got enough knowledge to make a good chatbot here. What you can see is these are all of the pages on the website that were crawled to provide information and training for the chatbot. So I can see that it crawled our contact page. And of course, the contact page has our phone number and it has, other ways of getting in touch with us, our address. And so now I know that the bot is going to use that information in its conversations. And I can fine tune that here. We support adding additional pages. So maybe we didn't get the most important page on your site, or you might have PDFs, maybe pricing catalogs or product catalogs that you want to be able, the bot to be able to answer questions to. You can upload PDFs just as easily here. We take those PDFs apart, we parse them, and we turn that into content that's used for the chatbot as well. Next, we're going to look at the intake process. So as you saw, when I began the conversation with the chatbot, it asked about my name and email address. So, our view on this is it might be interesting to put a bot on your site that just kind of anonymously can answer those questions, but your website is probably doing that already. And so the bot is there trying to gather some information so that you can get back to the people who are chatting with you. So you'll see that you can include what fields you want to collect before the chatbot steps in and begins to answer questions. Maybe you want to collect phone number before the bot starts to respond. And you can fine tune those details as well as like sort of customize the opening message on what the bot first says when it asks for some information. Another key element here is, every single chat is aimed toward an objective. We're trying to create a booking, we're trying to get a form filled out, but it might just be that someone shows up, asks your bot a couple of questions, and then disappears into the ether. And we've seen this for ourselves. That's a common way that people will interact with a bot. They'll get their questions answered and they'll move on. And that's great. Maybe they got their question answered, but if you're a sales team, you probably want to try to get in touch with those folks. So what you can have Nutshell do here is to create a lead for each inbound chat. So someone has a conversation with the bot and maybe they don't turn into a booking, you'll get a lead. You can choose which of your existing pipelines that lead is created in. As an example, for our team, those leads are assigned round robin amongst our sales team. So even if the bot gave a great answer, your sales team can follow up and make sure that they had their questions answered and that you're not leaving any leads behind. Okay, let's talk a little bit more about goals. So goals are a concept we use in a number of different places in Nutshell, in your sales process and elsewhere. And it's really just meant to say that chat is great, but you're really trying to get to a specific outcome here. And the goals that Nutshell Chat supports are connecting to Scheduler. So what I can do is I can say I want to nudge my visitors to schedule a meeting with Scheduler. And from here, I can choose a dropdown of all of my team's existing Scheduler entries. So maybe I'm a team of one and I just have a single person with a Scheduler link. That's great. Maybe you have a Scheduler link that's sort of assigning bookings round robin. Scheduler supports that kind of capability. So you can sort of maximize the availability on your website of when bookings are available. And if you've connected the chatbot to your scheduler, it will suggest that as sort of one outcome for your conversations. You can also connect one of your existing Nutshell forms to the chatbot. Maybe you have just a typical contact form. Maybe you're a business that collects some additional information for quoting and you collect different custom fields, or maybe you collect something like budget or otherwise. If you've already put that form together on the information that you want to collect from your prospects to kind of get them into your sales process, you can choose that form that might already exist on your site, and the bot will turn that into sort of a chat-friendly form experience here. And then finally, when we think about outcomes, I think we all know this, there are going to be visitors who just want to speak to a human, and the chatbot isn't enough there. So we have, what is going to happen when a visitor asks to speak to a human. So first, if your team is online and sitting inside of Nutshell and able to chat, you can actually hand off those conversations to your team, and they'll be, distributed round robin, or you could assign them all to a specific user so that you can actually step in and continue those conversations where someone might not want to talk to the bot. Or if your team isn't sitting in Nutshell all day and you want to be able to make sure you have a good response here, you can set up an offline message and an offline form. So when someone asks to speak to your team, they'll say, hey, we're not available. Give us some information and we'll get back to you quickly. That experience is customizable here in the chat as well. And the last thing I'm going to share here is some of the specific tuning around the bot itself and how it answers questions and the sort of look and feel of that. I have the bot set to respond all the time. It's going to step in before our team does, but you can also set it to only respond when your team is offline. And of course, this is something you can opt out of entirely. You get a little bit of customization on what it's called and what kind of icons you use, but you can also adjust how verbose and the kind of tone that the chatbot takes with your team to kind of match with your brand. Here, it's a little social flying club, so we've told it to adopt a friendly conversational tone and to provide pretty concise answers. I think it was Elena who asked about sort of some fine tuning for the bot. And so we talked about how you can add knowledge, maybe other pages or PDFs to the bot that might answer questions more effectively. But you can also give some guidance and also tell the bot to avoid certain topics here. So here in this guidance section, I might want to answer a common question where someone asks about the risks of flying and maybe give a specific answer. So I already sort of filled in the blanks here, but I basically said, someone asks about the risks of flying, let them know that our instructors have hundreds of hours of experience, our maintenance exceeds FAA standards, and I can sort of provide those kind of specific bits of guidance, and I can add more than one of those, right? So I might talk about, if somebody asks about Piper aircraft, let them know that we don't have them available. All right, this will be a quick way where you could add different information and guidance for how to steer the conversation or how to answer a particular kind of question. And maybe you'll have topics to avoid, right? If someone comes to the website and is looking for a job, we might say how to answer that question. Don't provide any specifics. Here's an email address you can contact. So these two tools, the guidance and the topics to avoid section, give you sort of free form controls over how the bot responds. And I know we're going to talk about roadmap a little bit at the end, but we're actually looking at some rolling out some sort of built-in suggestions on guidance and topics to avoid, so that Nutshell gives you the tools to control what that chatbot is responding like. So that's a bit of an overview of sort of how you can configure the chatbot and make it your own. We've talked about the appearance, the knowledge behind it, how you're collecting information sort of in the intake process, and ultimately guiding your conversations to the goals of booking a meeting, filling out a form, and collecting a lead from those visitors. So I think, Will, I've been rambling a lot here, but I'll kick it back to you as I adjust my screen share here.
It's been very helpful rambling. I'll say that enough. And before I get into it, this will be recorded and again, available for everyone to rewatch. So if you want to try to set this up and follow along with Andy's rambles, you can, or you can just download the PDF and kind of see, hey, the deeper configure and customization section, or see the chatbot in its different states. We're just then getting started with chatbot. You can just use the PDF to help you get started as well. We also have our support article that we link to in this PDF, or you can go to support.nutshell.com and find more information there as well. We ready for the next screen share, Andy?
I think that's actually it. I think that covers my my screen share here. So I think our final slide here is talking about pricing and okay. I missed the final screen share, so we're going to do that. You're right. Because this doesn't matter if you can't report on it. Why don't I bring that slide up, because that's one of the most important parts here.
You can't measure it, doesn't matter.
Exactly. All right. Go here and here. Okay, so we've seen sort of how you configure this and how you sort of tune for all of those goals. How do you measure this? Well, for one, the goal of all of the chatbot is to turn these conversations into leads, and you can use the all of Nutshell's existing lead reporting tools to understand how effective is your team at closing these leads, how quickly are they moving through your sales process with the funnel report. But to show you where you can get started on actually taking a look at how your chatbot is performing, on the dashboard of the engagement tab, we have a new chatbot card here. And so what I can see is my total conversations over time. Fortunately, my demo here, I haven't been having a ton of conversations so far, but on a daily or weekly basis, you can see the conversations that the chatbot is answering, and then ultimately measuring the leads that are being generated, the bookings that are being made, and the form submissions that are happening from those conversations. We really think those outcomes are the most important ones to measure here. And this is our sort of launch webcast here for the chatbot. And so as we understand more about what our customers are looking for in this feature, we're going to be adding a lot of additional reporting capabilities. I think a common request here, and something that we find ourselves doing a lot, is just looking at some of the conversations that the bot is having and understanding, is it going off the rails at all? Is it answering questions in a way that we think is effective? And of course, you can do that from the Nutshell chat UI here. So I can go here into the chat thread view. I can click on Chatbot, and I can see each conversation that the chatbot has had, how it replied, and what the visitor had to say. So in the same way that you can look at other chat threads, you can go to chatbot specific conversations and see how those are going. And I can see every chat open and closed from the chat thread view here in the engagement tab. That was the final screen share I wanted to show.
Now we can get into pricing and what's next.
There we go.
So Andy, can you access Nutshell Chat? I think we answered it earlier here, but everyone likes to hear it.
My AirPods glitched for a second there, but yes, how do you access chat? So chat is available for all customers of Nutshell. So we like I said, we kind of want to democratize this kind of technology, make it available. We think that the CRM is most effective when it's helping you to generate leads for your team. So all Nutshell customers have access to chat today. It comes through our engagement foundation package, which is included for all CRM customers. So if you go to that engagement tab in your sidebar, you'll be prompted with the setup flow and can get going from there. In early access, you've got unlimited use of the chatbot, and where we might go with this in the future is putting some sort of cap on the number of threads here. But as I say, there's we really think that the CRM is most effective when it's helping you to generate prospects, and we think this is going to be a key part of making Nutshell a great sales tool. So short answer is available for all customers, included with all plans today.
And you can start using the software. I think Elena said earlier she already tested it out. You can start using it right now. Actually, a couple of days ago, you could start using it if we want to go back in time. So some resources before we get into some of the questions here that I'll toss up to Andy to answer. You can link out to these, or click on these to link out to, and get some more information on how to set this up. You can see some of the other features in our engagement suite, like our integrations with Facebook Messenger, Instagram DMs, and WhatsApp. And then, of course, anything you have questions on, feel free to go to our support center, support.nutshell.com. We have lots of great guides there to walk you through how to use and set up some of this stuff. So Andy, let's get into some Q&A. Everybody that's still here, feel free to continue to type your questions in. I got a few backlogged in here. This one's from Adam. Can we create more than one bot? For example, one for my landing pages and a second one for our regular site.
As of today, not yet. The team's kind of built this with that in mind, that you might want to have some different configuration for different pages, different use cases. At the moment, this is a single chatbot, the same kind of configuration wherever it's embedded. But this is likely something that we'll be working to further invest in and add more configuration around. To give an example, if you embed the chat widget today, of course, you'll see that it is collapsed by default, and you can choose a little nudge to try to start a conversation. We've heard the request quite frequently that maybe you want the chat to pop open automatically when a user goes to your pricing page, or maybe when a user goes to your contact form, you want to open up the chat and offer sort of a specific starting sort of starter message to that chat. So we're looking at more ways of making controls that you can configure how the chat presents itself and sort of volunteers information. And I think that will sort of open up the door into sort of multiple chatbot identities.
Cool. This next one from Mateus, can we add a disclaimer that information could be inaccurate due to the user interacting with an AI chatbot?
That's a good question. You could certainly add that as a note in the conversation starter today. So when the bot first replies, it's going to sort of prompt for some information about name and email address. That text reply is adjustable. So you could say, hey, I'm happy to help. I'm just a bot, so I might not get everything right. So you could add that to a conversation starter. I don't think you can include a link in there at the moment. So that's something we could take into consideration to sort of maybe bake that more directly into the chat UI there.
Next one from Marquise. In addition to gathering leads, can it also be configured for customer service?
That's a good question. We built this as a sales chatbot, right? And so, its primary objective is helping you turn visitors into leads. What we've seen is that it does a really great job at answering a lot of questions, and we'd love to hear your feedback on how it's doing and how we can do that better, because we think that great sales and great pre-sales is about answering as many of those questions and getting objections out of the way there. But we haven't specifically designed it as an all-in-one support tool. I don't know if that's if we'll push in that direction. I think we really want to get the sales experience right first. But ultimately, Nutshell's suite of software, from sales to marketing to engagement, really covers a lot of ground on the customer-facing side. And so I think we'll be exploring that, but it's probably a not this year kind of thing.
Thanks. From Elena, will a bot answer a question always the same way? Like, can we test a question and trust it will answer the same way if the question is asked the same way each time and the settings have not been changed?
That's a good question. I think the short answer is no, but that's also why we built in sort of the chat guidance tool. And that does give you more control. So to give a little bit of the context behind that, first, it's probably obvious, but Nutshell is using some of the large language models from OpenAI and from Anthropic to power the experience behind this. So we stand on the shoulders of giants in helping to make that training happen and helping to make these answers work. And those language models are really good at being able to suss out the particulars of the conversation that's being had. What was answered 3 lines ago might have an impact on what was answered next, right? So the entire chat thread is the context of the conversation, not just each kind of question and answer. So the bot is aware of the full conversation there, and so you can't just guarantee this comes in and this comes out kind of thing. That said, that's why we built those sort of chat guidance and topics to avoid controls in there, because you might have some sensitive kinds of topics or some very important kinds of topics that you want to guarantee a particular answer on. And to give an example of that, one might be pricing. You might want to say, never provide a specific price answer. Defer any pricing question to a quote, right? And that way the chatbot will take that into consideration, and it's not going to, maybe use the content on your website and help formulate a quote based on your own pricing. It will take those instructions and use that when it replies. So we would encourage you to use that kind of guidance to control the bot from certain kinds of questions. And the good thing about that is it's going to then be much better at kind of fuzzy matching how questions are asked. So you can just say, if someone asks about pricing, and then you don't have to sort of put particular like search and replace type tools on there.
Sweet. And then we got one more question again from Adam. And I think he answered his own question on where the issue might lie. But when he was testing around, Round Robin was enabled for it. He was logged in and accepting chats, and it didn't assign to him. It only assigned to him when he was selecting assign to me. I assume that's probably something to do with the pipeline and the assignment rules in that specific pipeline, Andy.
That's probably right. There's a distinction between the chat thread being assigned to a particular agent versus the lead that the chat creates being assigned to a particular agent. So you can choose a round robin assignment to assign threads to everybody who's online. And that would probably be the first thing to double check. So if you take a look inside of that same engagement tab, look at your agent section, and the way that round robin is going to work is it's going to assign to everybody who's currently online. So you might want to make sure that you are online for that test. And then, yes, if it was about the lead that was created, that's when it would follow your existing lead assignment rules. And so, you might have some special cases there where leads for a particular territory are assigned to a particular team, and all of Nutshell's existing lead routing rules would be followed in that case.
Sweet. Any more last minute questions, feel free to get them in. If not, we'll go over some last minute resources. So again, just some recent releases, making sure you're aware of everything that Nutshell is rolling out. We now have Nutshell invoices included now in Nutshell quotes and invoices. We have our pipeline starter pack. So if you're a new Nutshell customer or expanding and creating new pipelines, we have some AI help that can help you create new pipelines, but also some pre-built templates that you can build off from. More reporting features in our activity report. And then also we have the ability now to automate some closed lead follow-up. So whether you do something all the time when a lead is won or a lead is lost or canceled, you can now send that to a new pipeline automatically and trigger those next actions in that next sequence there. And then some upcoming releases. We have our Nutshell MCP server integration. If this is over your head like it was over mine a couple weeks ago, essentially you can use tools like ChatGPT to get more analysis from your Nutshell data, which is going to be pretty cool. I'm sure we'll have a webinar on that in the near future. We're hard at work at making sure we can get an integration going with Microsoft Teams to include our meeting summarizations and transcriptions there, just like we have with Zoom, Click to Call, and Google Meets. And then you might have noticed a few design changes on our lead page. We have a few more coming our way. We'll make sure to communicate those loud and clear as we plan to make the lead page even more usable and more easy for your team to use and close faster without being clunked up and clunked away. So those are some releases that we have coming up. Thank you for joining us today. Of course, in addition to our marketing or product focused webinars that we hold on a monthly basis, we also have our support and success-led webcast. You missed it earlier today. It's always on the last Wednesday of the month at 12 noon Eastern. So the next one's going to be at September 24th. Again, you'll get this PDF emailed to you. You can sign up for that. And once you're signed up for that, you've signed up for all the reoccurring ones until you unsubscribe from them. So they're always super helpful. You can jump on, ask some live support questions, maybe get shown through a problem you're trying to figure out on that. So that being said, we're looking forward to everyone testing out Nutshell's AI chatbot, and let us know when you have it live on your site. We're always looking for feedback as well, so shoot us that. I believe we have a banner in the app right now where you can click and fill out a quick survey to give us some feedback. So again, we appreciate that on how we can continue to make Nutshell as the AI chatbot better and then Nutshell better in general. So again, thank you for joining us. Andy, thank you for coming in and bringing your expertise. We look forward to everyone using Nutshell's AI chatbot to get more leads into your CRM.
Thanks, Will. Exciting stuff. And yeah, we'd love to hear your feedback. So send it our way.
Cool. Happy Nutshell, everybody.